In today's video, we are going to be going over, and let me get this right, Infinity Strash, Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai. The game code has been provided by Square Enix, but these opinions are my own, and having the code does not influence these whatsoever. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well, welcome back to the channel. As always, got you covered with timestamps in the description down below, so if there's a certain section you want to skip to, feel free to do so, whatever floats your boat. All I ask is for you to support the channel and hit the thumbs up button. And we're going to go straight into this one. I'm going to give you my brief history of Dragon Quest and the Dai series, just so you know where I'm coming from when approaching this video with my thoughts and opinions. So Dragon Quest, I'm relatively new to the series. I tried out Dragon Quest 8 back on the PS2 ages ago. I rented it from Blockbusters, but I couldn't quite get into it. I was very set on playing Final Fantasy during those years. But recently I've played Dragon Quest 11 and Dragon Quest 11S, and I've played some of the spin-offs. I've played Dragon Quest Treasures, and I'm going to be playing Dragon Quest Monsters at the end of this year. When it comes to the Dai series, I think I dabbled ever so briefly into the mobile game, but I don't know the anime whatsoever. I'm not really an anime guy, so I'm not really familiar with the series whatsoever, so allow this to be a perspective from someone that's relatively fresh from all kind of angles, I guess you could say. So let's start off with story. I don't want to spoil this because this is obviously kind of following the anime. I think a lot of people said online that it only covers the first 40 episodes. I'm not really sure of how many episodes there are in total, but it does follow the anime to the T. For me, the story was okay. I couldn't really get into it too much. It was just kind of tolerable, and the characters were all right. I didn't really have any favorites. I just kind of rolled with the times. And apart from that, yeah, it was an alright time when it comes to the story. So let's move on straight to what I feel like is the biggest factor, for me anyway, in this game, and that's its gameplay. Now, I went into this thinking there was going to be some kind of like exploration element to the game. There isn't, and I was a little bit disappointed, but then I kind of set my expectations for what I was in for and where the gameplay was going to shine. So essentially the way this works is you are going to be going through the story in a map style, and you will have cutscenes you can watch, which will either be like in-rendered cutscenes with the in-game models, or there'll be like these kind of drawing style cutscenes that kind of tell you the events of what's going on. And these can be quite long. If you've watched the anime, you're probably going to be very familiar with how long some of these scenes are. And, you know, I just, again, rolled with it and kind of went through the map in my own style. But the way this breaks up, you have kind of two battle events, I guess we could call them. You have your main story battles, where you kind of go against fodder and go to the next section of the map and beat some more fodder to kind of progress the story. And then you have your boss battles. And then aside from that, you kind of have these like free kind of battles where they're not part of the story. There's just a way for you to kind of level up, get more bond cards, and kind of just progress your statistics just that little bit further. So all in all, very basic but very hard to master, and that will become a quite apparent fact when we talk about the combat. And talk about combat we shall. This is probably where I had the most fun, though it is not the most in-depth combat system when you compare it to games that are in a similar style. There is something there, and I feel like you really get the true grips of it when you hit the end game. Once you've completed the main story and you unlock the challenge mode and you're going through the Temple of Recollection, which I'll talk about in a bit further in just a second, is when you kind of respect the combat and really learn it. As I was going through the story, I was just using my attacks as and when, and I was kind of mindlessly just making my way through the story when it comes to combat. I did hit some walls where I had to go into the Temple of Recollection to get some bond cards and level up some of my abilities to progress, but combat is, again, very simple but very hard to master. You have your basic attack and you can take 3 abilities with you. You can also block and you can dodge out of the way, and they're going to become quite deciding factors in the latter half of the game when you're doing your challenges and the later floors of the Temple of Recollection. All in all, the combat is alright. Some people may not jive with this, they might not like this, but again, if you give it the chance, I think you will probably come to respect it at the end parts of the game, and that may not be enough to sell someone on it. So let's move on to the later stages of the game. We have challenge mode, which unlocks once you've completed the story, essentially going back to the locations with really really hard bosses. I mean, I'm getting my ass kicked left, right, and center, and really having to analyze each enemy and its movements, and making sure I'm dodging at the right time, and making sure I'm blocking at the right time, and making sure I'm healing at the right time, and using the resources around me. Very frustrating. I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy, but this is definitely a roadblock in that, and I need to spend more time with the combat. But a great way to learn the combat is the Temple of Recollection, and this is probably going to be where you are going to spend most of your time when it comes to Infinity Strash, Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai. I got it. I thought I was going to forget it, but I got it. So essentially you're going through like this endless dungeon that does have an end, but it takes quite a while. I've not even made it to the end. I mean, one of the trophies is to complete it, and then complete it with just one single character. So there is a lot you need to kind of learn about this game, and it can be quite frustrating. But essentially you are going through, and you are going through each floor, and each floor you are unlocking a statistic or boosting a statistic, whether it's for a single character or the entire party. And this can be from HP to magic to attack power to defense and its ability cooldowns. So you really kind of want to strategically get through the floors. As you're going through these floors, you're going to be going across boss floors, which can be quite difficult and overwhelming, so you really need to manage the way you are handling it. And some floors you'll have treasure chest floors where you can unlock some extra goodies. All in all, this is where I had the most fun with Infinity Strash, because I really had to think what I'm doing. I had that goal in mind. I wanted the platinum trophy, but to do that I need to learn the combat a little bit more, and you have all the tools at your disposal. Now let's talk about leveling up. Now, when you go through the Temple of Recollection, you start from level 1 and whatever you get to, and it's very punishing. If you get really far and then you die, you lose everything. Everything you collected, you can say goodbye to it. So I really suggest that you do floors that you're confident with, back out, go back in again with a new setup and level up abilities. You are collecting items that will help you level up the abilities, because your level of your abilities and your bond cards will always stay the same. They won't start from level 1. So that is what you're aiming for. The max level for abilities and the cards are 10. So that's what you want to aim for. And again, it can be very, very challenging. And then once you've leveled up them cards and abilities, you can then take that to either the story mode or the challenge mode. So it's kind of a full circle moment. But again, this is where I had the most fun, and I feel like because it's so far into your gameplay experience, you may not even make it that far and just kind of judge the game and say, nah, this is not for me. And I completely understand that. So all in all, you know, my experience with Infinity Strash, Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai was okay. It wasn't amazing, it wasn't grandiose, but I'm having fun just kind of chasing the platinum trophy, because that's a goal, personal goal that I have in mind. Apart from that, there are a few things that just lack for me in this game, and I would love to know your thoughts, because this game has been out for about a week or so now, what they are. So let me know in the comment section below. They are my thoughts on Infinity Strash, Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai, and I'm so glad I got that title kind of like hit to the T there. But that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, let me know in the comment section below. If you liked the content, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you're notified of my future content. And again, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.